sure that this was the end. Sure I was gonna be murdered. And then my panic subsided, and I actually got my first proper look at the thing. It was a freaking kangaroo. A big, muscular kangaroo. It wasn't chasing me, it just happened to have been traveling in the same direction as I was. It just hopped off down the path, and was out of sight before I'd even fully registered what was happening. So it turns out, I was running scared from something that didn't even care I was there. But it did give me quite a fright. Walked home quick after that. I've never shared this story with anybody, and coincidence would have it that my dad's funeral was yesterday and it had me thinking of things that we did, and I just so happened to see this post just now. So here we go. This happened 2000-2001, when I was 12 to 13. My parents split up in '95, and my dad had every other weekend with me. He didn't have heaps of money, so he always had to improvise on the things that we would do on our weekends. One night, I want to say in January or February, we were bored at home and he suggests that we drive up to the Mount Baldy, Southern California ski park, ski lifts, as it had been snowing pretty good up there, and it would just be nonsensical fun I suppose. I remember it being cloudy, lightly snowing, not hard enough to stick to the roads though, and it must have been about 2 in the morning, as we had gone after Saturday Night Live, watching It Was Our Thing, had ended. If you've never been to the base of the Mount Baldy lifts, I should explain to you that it's a single 2-lane road that goes up about 10 to 15 miles, and then makes a sudden hairpin turn that leads directly to the parking lot for the lifts. At the parking lot, you're surrounded on 3 sides of steep mountain face, with the 2 east-west sides particularly steep, as the one behind you to the north, if you were facing the road, has the lifts that go up to the park. Anyways, we drive up not encountering any other cars, and we get to the parking lot, get out to pee, and just kind of hang out for about 10 minutes or so. I remember walking maybe 20 steps with him away from the car, when out of nowhere, coming from the east steep mountain face, we hear this almost scream-like growl noise. I've never heard anything like it before, nor since. Imagine if you could a bear's growl mixed with a man's scream. It lasted about 10 seconds, and was loud enough to echo through the mountains. There weren't any houses close enough, nor cars around for it to be a person. Nor could anybody go up the mountain face without climbing gear. My dad and I both froze, stared at each other, and hauled ass back down the mountains. I've been up there many times since, all times of day and night, and still have never heard or experienced anything quite like that. I've heard grizzly bears, black bears, bobcats, etc. And nothing even come close. He and I actually talked about it a couple of days before he passed, and we were both still stunned to this day as to what it was that made that noise. I can't confirm that anything was there, nor do I really want to. Where my childhood home was situated, I lived in a smaller town that boomed really fast when Boeing moved in, but when I grew up there were still patches of woodlands here and there. One of these separated my street from the street below us. Our driveway had a patch of gravel on the edge of these woods that my sister would park her old station wagon. On to the story. Several years ago, I think I was 9 or 10 at the time, my sister drove me home from Wednesday night service that was a good 20-minute drive from our house. As we pulled into our street I got a weird feeling in my gut, like a mixture of butterflies and a rock all at the same time. I didn't want to say anything that would scare my sister as it was the middle of November, late and dark. My sister pulls up our cul-de-sac and instead of pulling straight in, which would put my door right next to the woods, where if someone was there they could easily reach over and open the door, she circles the street and backs in. I noticed the concerned look on her face, and that's when the feeling in my stomach turned into alarm bells. I told my sister that something wasn't right. She immediately agreed and put it in drive and punched it. I called my parents on my Nokia brick and told them what was going on. They told us to go to our neighbor's house after driving past the gas station in Business Park, giving them a head start to get home. We did that, skirting through their yard, but feeling very, very watched. After my parents got home they found nothing. My dad cleared the yard and property, he was the landlord of the duplex, with his .45 and found nothing. I haven't spoken to my parents or my sister about it in a long time. I'll ask them tomorrow and see if anything ever came of that.